The following is a presentation of the Radio Misfits Podcast Network.
From the birthplace of modern winemaking, Sonoma, California, welcome to The Winemakers. Local experts Sam Couturi, Bart Hansen, and Brian Casey, along with host John Myers, invite you to listen in as they discuss all facets of winemaking. So sit back, pour yourself a glass, and let's hear what the guys have to say this week.
All right. Ooh, a Rhone pour on a Monday morning.
Pour,
it is.
Rhone pour.
Hey, everybody, welcome to
pour like a Rhone pour.
Welcome to the Winemakers. I'm John Myers with Brian Casey and Jasmine Egan and Bella Pearson.
Yes.
Yay,
welcome.
Bella, thank you.
And Laurent Gomez from Domaine du Val de Rois.
Oh,
is
John,
that okay?
You nailed it.
from north of Avignon. Welcome. Beautiful day for you here. So thanks for coming on the show.
No, thank you for your invitation.
Yeah, of
It's
course.
a great pleasure.
Oh,
Hey,
thank Bella.
And his first time, right, to Sonoma?
Yeah.
To
Yes.
the birth of modern winemaking. Sonoma, California.
It is. Organic. Regenerative. Sunny.
Yeah,
rain.
we
everything.
We do a lot of those things.
Yeah.
Bella, can we quickly just do a little sidebar with you?
Yeah, absolutely.
So Jasmine and I were at James Suckling tasting last weekend. Ran into you.
Yes, how serendipitous.
I know, that was kind of cool. And you actually were pouring my favorite white wine that I had of all the wines that we went around and tasted a bunch of stuff. And I actually really, will you just shout out that winery
Yes.
that you were representing?
It was the Luca Chardonnay
Yeah,
coming from La Consulta in the Uco Valley in
Yeah.
Mendoza, Argentina.
it was so
Yeah,
freaking
Some
good.
really
That's
phenomenal
very good.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we tried some fun stuff. Did you get a chance to go around and
Nope.
try anything?
Oh, we should have watched your booth.
No, it's okay. It was great. I just love being there representing our brands. It's always a fun time.
Yeah, we got to try the cab from China.
Oh.
What is it?
I don't know how to
Ion.
say it.
Ion. Yeah.
But we had met with Karen McNeil a couple months ago, and she was talking about how she had gone up there, and it was about yak dung and all kinds of different stuff.
Yeah,
So we,
yak
How was it?
It was pretty great.
Really?
Yeah.
yeah.
Like
awesome.
super Bordeaux vibes, a little chewy, but like really, really big and beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and we were
great.
having a lot of fun at the beginning because we got in early. Thank you, Erin Carroll, Vicky's daughter, got us little VIP passes.
Nice.
Thank you, Artie Johnson, for letting us sneak into the front of the line. And it was great to go around at first and try a bunch of stuff, and then it just got a little overwhelming. So I was just wondering about your perceptions of the event, what it's like working an event of that size.
Yeah, absolutely. At the beginning, it's great. You have people who are asking all the questions, like wanting to know everything about the wine. Maybe about halfway through, you get a crowd that's just like, I'm here to drink. And
Yeah.
by the end, I had people knocking over bottles and
Ugh.
spilling wine everywhere, or just straight up dumping their like spit cups into my ice bucket. And
Oh my goodness.
it's always fun at the beginning. And then by the end, I'm always just like, why did I do this again?
You know, we saw a couple people do it the way that we used to see Saxum do it down at Hospice de Rhône was they would bring like 8 bottles. And as soon as they were done, they'd turn them upside down into the
And
box,
dip.
and then they'd leave. And they would just leave the empty bottles on the table. And we saw some people do that this time too. And we're like,
Yeah.
that's kind of smart.
It's a
Get through
baller
the-
move too.
Yeah, get through the first hour and then basically, all right, peace
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, I was looking around towards the end and I'm like, where did all these other people who were pouring go? And I was still there just
Yeah.
pouring the wine.
Yeah.
Gotta hustle.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
We had fun. But it did get a little overwhelming there. And it was just so
Yeah.
many, I don't know, it's like 230, 300 people pouring or
Yeah.
something like that.
There were a
Wow.
lot of people pouring.
Holy cow.
But
Too
no
slow.
So many
Rhones.
consumers.
There were
Wasn't a lot of
no
Rhones. We
Rhones,
were
and we were
not
very
happy.
sad. we're Rhone lovers, and we were like, "Hi, where is any of the product?"
I mean, a lot of Chile, Argentina, some Bordeaux, but
Yeah.
we
Little
love
Greece,
the Rhone,
yeah.
So anyway, so thank God Laurent
Yeah.
is here today.
Yes.
I'm glad I could bring the Rhone
Yes.
to
Bring
you.
Always.
the Rhone around. So cool, Laurent. Why don't you, tell us a little bit about, yourself if you want. And can I mention that I love the fact that I was before you guys showed up. I think it was you. I saw a young person outside rolling up a cigarette and smoking it in the parking lot. It's been so long since I've seen a young person smoking an actual cigarette and not like
and rolling their own
cigarette.
too.
And I was like, oh my God, I feel so good right now.
You gotta watch Isabel. Isabel rolls her own cigarettes.
Does she really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's just been a long time since I saw like a young person smoking an actual cigarette. And it just made me so happy.
It's a French test.
I know, I didn't mean to out you, but I thought it was just so cool. It gave me good memories.
So, about Valréas and about our wines, because Stéphane is now the owner, Stéphane Vedeau of Valréas. He bought the winery from Mr. Bouchard, Emmanuel. So Mr. Bouchard is...
Well, I have no idea what that was. I have zero idea.
What happened?
I have no idea. Maybe it was this.
Oh, well, don't.
I didn't. Who
It's a
knew?
long time to screw
Who
around.
knew, dude? Who knew? I didn't know.
Okay, stop pressing
I have
things.
no idea. all I did was turn my headphones up, man.
All right, sorry. Go ahead.
But it was kind of cool, actually.
We might have some weird audio effects. Your voice sounds like maybe it's
No. It's all right.
Get
All
better
good.
effect on it.
Yeah, Emmanuel, he brought it in, the ghost.
So I said, we have a very, very special plot and special vineyard. Valréas is on the northern part of the Southern Rhône. So it's the last limestone place in Southern Rhône, in the north. And thanks to that, we have a very, very different balance. And that's why Bouchard family and Stéphane Vedeau come to Valréas just to try to get the best balance, the best equilibrium with a lot of acidity you can find in Valréas wines. So thanks to that, we work organically just to get this, to translate this vineyard characteristics and keep a lot of freshness with a full ripeness. But excuse me.
Oh, God, I was going to say, especially with the whites, limestone is really nice. And so, but how many varietals are they growing on the property?
We are focused on the Northern Rhône varietals. So most of them is Roussanne, Marsanne, and Viognier. But we also have a bit of Grenache Blanc and Bourboulenc. Because Bourboulenc gives the natural acidity. It's not very expressive on the fruit and on the bouquet of aromas, but you can keep all the acidity and the acid part of the wine. And acidity is very, very important for us. I know in France, most part of winemakers don't want to speak about acidity, but they speak about freshness and this kind of terms.
Why don't they want to talk about acidity?
But acidity certainly is the most important things in Southern Rhône now. And we need to pay attention to have the right pH when we harvest. So that's why we choose our harvest date looking at the acidity and not just looking at the full ripeness, like we said, phenolic ripeness. Because we always have a lot of aromas in Rhône Valley. So we are sure to have the right bouquet of aromas when we have the right balance. But that we just not just express the ripe black fruit, but we can have the fresh red fruit and black currant aromas on the red, and all the exotic and fresh ripe fruit in the white blend.
And what is it? What do you do what do you actually do? What is your job title?
I'm sales manager for the winery.
And how long have you been with them?
2 years ago. I was working in Northern Rhône before, and I met Stéphane and we tasted the white wines. And I said, okay, where I have to sign. Just because in Northern Rhône with a blend of Roussanne, Marsanne, and Viognier. But Roussanne, Marsanne, especially for Crozes-Hermitage or Saint-Joseph. The freshness is less expressive than in Valréas wine. So I was very, very impressed about what he can get and the bouquet of aromas he can get in Valréas. And I was born in Valréas, so I know the place. I know the place very well, but I was very surprised.
What were you doing before you started working for them?
Before I was in
Yeah.
family in a family estate in Northern Rhône in Crozes-Hermitage, and during 10 years.
Right? That's my new addiction.
That does
my
not
new
suck.
addiction is Chave Hermitage. I
yeah.
love Marsanne.
It's
so
not a good addiction for your
Bank account.
money.
it's horrible. And I
But it's
bought
great.
all the bottles from Bottle Barn in Santa Rosa already. So now I need to find a new dealer. But once you have great Marsanne and Roussanne, it's hard to drink anything else.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true because you with this both varieties you can have all the aromas of Rhone Valley. Even if Marsanne is much more on citrus aromas and more fresh than Roussanne, but Roussanne on chalky clay soil can give you a lot of aromas of apricot, peach, and it's very interesting variety. And that's why in Valréas we try to just have the vineyards in this kind of variety. Just look at the Northern Rhône, especially for the red too, because we have most important part of Syrah.
Yeah.
Because the Syrah in Valréas is I find pretty the same balance than in Northern Rhône. And after we try differently in the cellar also to don't extract a lot. Just let the terroir infused with long maturation period, but without any extraction.
Yeah.
Like that for the red, we can have
And you get all this beautiful wine from only 10 hectares?
Yeah.
Wow.
But Stéphane bought Clos-Bellan in 2010. And he bought Valréas from Emmanuel in 2020. And it's just the plots, it's very close. It's the neighbors. So we can find some grapes from Clos-Bellan also, if you want to give a bit more freshness.
Yeah.
Because Clos-Bellan is only Roussanne, Marsanne, and Viognier.
Mm-hmm.
And the Grenache Blanc and Beaujolais is in Valréas, because Valréas is a bit lower in altitude. So the balance is not totally the same than in Clos-Bellan. So
right. What was on the property? How long have they been growing grapes on the property?
65.
Since 1965.
Yeah.
Okay. And Charlemagne planted that area. Like, what, in the 9th century or something?
Oh, yeah.
They've been growing for a long time there. Beautiful
probably
spot.
a little while, yeah.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
I know. We laugh when we tell people our oldest winery here in Sonoma is 1857. So it's a little different.
It's different than the Valley of the King in France. Beautiful spot.
And that's why the average of age of our vines is around 50 years old. And thanks to that, the yield is very low. So we don't need to make, for example, green harvesting to get the right yield, to have this quality without to hurt the wine and to just let the vines getting this kind of yield and get the best grapes we can get.
Yeah. What is total production from the
Valréas is approximately 40 to 50,000 bottles.
Yeah. And how much of it do you distribute, and how much do you sell back at home?
In US?
Yeah.
I don't know exactly, but
enough that you're here.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe 10,000 or 15,000 dollars.
Yeah. Can you tell us about this wine that we have in our glass?
Yeah, so this is a blend of Roussanne 50%, 20% of Grenache Blanc, 20% of Viognier, and 10% of Beaujolais. So it's a blend of all the varieties we have in Valréas.
Yeah. Beautiful aromatics.
This is your next candle wish list.
And you feel this freshness, special from this limestone terroir.
Yeah.
And thanks to the Grenache Blanc, we have all the aromas you can definitely find in Southern Rhône. And there is no oak for sure, only in concrete vats.
Oh, you're doing everything in concrete?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all the winemaking process is made by gravity. So it's gravity feed. And after we let it to express this kind of terroir and this kind of aromas, but without oak, because we don't want to make it loud and heavy. Yeah. And just keep the freshness of the fruit. Yeah. And it's the Grenache Blanc and Roussanne gives this kind of aromas. So that's why we choose these varietals to keep. If we put a bit more of Viognier, for example, it could be heavy, and we want to pay attention to have this balance.
But it still has great feel in the mouth, though. But it's fresh. But it still has a nice
and
weight
the
to
length is amazing.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. We talk about a sense of place on our wine here. So you go home, you remember Sonoma. I taste this. I remember the valleys of France. And you can taste the limestone. You can see the limestone in France because it created all the cities. But it really has an impact on the wine, amazingly. And then you get the winds there that are clean and cool, and the Mistral.
It's colder thanks to the wind, to the Mistral, the special wind we have in the area. And we are on the top of the hill, so it's really windy, and that's why, for example, we don't have problem with frost because it's always windy.
Right.
And
that's great.
And even if it's colder with the wind, you don't have this kind of problem.
And you've been certified organic in Europe, correct?
Yeah.
That's great.
And as I said to Bella, and for us, it's not, the accreditation is not the main goal. We are accredited just because we want to respect the balance, the natural balance, and that's why we don't work with entrants, and we only make an organic compost one time a year, and we don't work the soil a lot, so we plant seeds between each row. Like that we can keep the freshness thanks to leguminous and this kind of grass during the harvest and during the summer. And all the exposure is more to the east. Like that we don't have the warm afternoon of summer and keep this freshness.
I can't wait to try the Syrah now after you told me about it.
Well, Brian, this first glass was right up your alley.
Oh, totally. Bella knows. I'm drinking a lot of whites in my tea time.
Brian juice.
Yeah. But when you talk about, especially when you talk about northern parts of the Rhone and Syrah, then you have my attention too.
Oh, I'm all in.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have 3 wines. Is that what you're going around with today? Mm-hmm. Okay. So you have the white blend, and then is it a Syrah Grenache blend and then 100% Grenache?
It is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. And which one is this? This is
Syrah Grenache.
Let's just move this ahead artificially here.
And Bella, where are you guys going today?
We are headed to have lunch with a customer in San Francisco, and then we'll be moseying our way down to the South Bay to hit a few accounts. And then tomorrow is a full San Francisco day. I think we have like 8 or 9 appointments. And then we'll be going up to Sacramento for our last day.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what's it like out there?
In Sacramento?
No, just in general out there selling wine right now.
It has its moments.
Yeah.
Business has slowed down for sure. There are a lot of people who are just straight up on buying freezes. They're like, we are not having the sales like we should, so we are just trying to move through what we're sitting on. Which, is hard for somebody in sales, where my job is to go out and sell these to places. It's been a lot easier to sell sake because sake has been moving and growing, but wine has slowed down exponentially.
Did you find that last year people were like anticipating tariffs and they were kind of like stocking up on imports?
Yeah. I've seen some people who did like larger buys that have not reordered anything this year. Yeah.
So
because they're just
squirreling.
Exactly.
Stuff away.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I think this is an opportunity time for people to buy wines. I don't know, as a former wine buyer, I think it's a great opportunity. It's a time where you can sort of say, hey, how about if I buy 5 cases or 10 cases, or you up for a little wheeling and dealing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, absolutely. Like I love buyers like that who are kind of seeing this time as an opportunity to make some big changes, because it's so hard, especially as a salesperson, getting told no again and again. Like that's just part of the job. But when I do run into those people who are like, okay, let's talk, I'm like, yes, finally. Finally. So yeah, it's been tough, but just trying to make the most of it.
Yeah. Yeah, we feel for you. We're both 16600 and Dane sellers. Bart's not here today, but we sell mostly direct to consumer, and so we don't really have a feeling of what exactly the situation is. We just hear bits and pieces from people. But obviously from last weekend, there's a shit ton of wine drinkers out there.
Yes.
It's not like we're going away.
We're getting more concentrated.
And I think people are a little more thoughtful in what they're purchasing. And
Definitely.
I think, Laurent, you saying that, having the organic thing on there, we find that younger people are interested, especially if they don't live in France and they don't know the property, or they don't know that most places are farming organically anyway, even if it's not certified. But the fact that it's on the bottle, that it's important to them, because they want to know that, it's being farmed with intention. They want to know what they're putting in their body, and it's sort of an important piece. We're also organic farmers, and people ask.
Yeah, sure. It's pretty the same in France. We have question about the organic, but that as I explained, it's not just for the accreditation and to say, okay, we are organic. It's important to explain the philosophy behind that, and that's why I try to say it. We want to go maybe on biodynamic, because it's much more a philosophy than just organic, like it's made in France. Because just an example, the sulfites rate it's pretty high for organic in Europe, because it's made for all European country, and in Southern Rhône it's easier to make organic wines because it's windy. It's pretty warm, and we don't have the same disease than in Burgundy or in Champagne. But that's why we are not just organic. It's just we try to make people understanding what we make and what we think about our vineyard and the environment, the special environment of Valréas.
If you don't have the same diseases as they have in Bordeaux, is that purely weather related?
Well, they're up at elevation.
Understood.
And then also
the elevation and the wind. The wind is like
right pressures.
Yeah. Last year we have a complicated problem with mildew, but it's pretty rare. Thanks to the wind. The wind is like drier, and even if it's raining, after you have 2 or 3 days of really windy days, and it's much better for make organic wines and easier. But we know we are pretty lucky in the area.
All right, what is that? So tell us about this wine that we have now.
So Le Petit Roi is a blend of Syrah Grenache 50-50. And what is very interesting here, and you can find in all the other part of Southern Rhône, is the verticality of the Grenache. Usually Grenache make full-bodied but rich and pretty not heavy but warm aromas. And here you have acidity in the Grenache, and that makes Valréas very, very special, for a very special place for this varietal especially. And for the Syrah, like I said, it looks like a bit like a Northern Rhône. So that makes the structure of the wine and make it full-bodied without any extraction. So it's 5 weeks of fermentation period, but we make just 1 pump over after the end of the alcoholic fermentation. And after we let it like an infusion, and we get all the aromas without the structure and without a lot of tannins. Like that, we don't need to use oak, for example, and we stay just one week in concrete vats to keep the purity of the fruit. And,
Wait, explain that again. So you're fermenting, and then your aging is done in concrete, even with the reds.
yeah.
And
Because we don't extract. So the tannin of the Syrah is not so rough.
Yeah.
So that don't need oaky aging to make it soften.
Right.
And we get this balance and this.
And not even neutral barrels. You're talking about just 100% concrete.
Yeah. Yes.
For how long?
1 week. 1 week. 1 year. Sorry.
Thank you. Okay, that was why
I said 1 week. Sorry. 1 year.
Wait a
1 year.
minute, 1 week.
That's
1 week and they're good to go.
Sorry. 1 year. 1 year.
Tastes really good for a week.
Okay, 1 year in concrete and then to bottle.
Yeah.
Okay, so is your entire cellar all concrete?
Most part, 80%.
Wow.
80% it's a pure concrete. There is no reasoning on it, just to keep the synergy of concrete and to keep all the freshness. We don't have air conditioning in the cellar because we are buried.
Right.
And
really?
Yeah, the
You're built into
temperature is
it.
always the same all year long. So like that, we can keep all the purity or the freshness. And
are there other wineries or vineyards in your area that are doing the same thing? That most
no.
people,
No, it's much more traditional, especially in this place. They look at the alcohol degree to harvest. And they want to extract because it's a pretty old-fashioned way to make a wine, to make full-bodied wine, rich, just looking at Chateauneuf du Pape or this kind of appellation. And we are in the opposite, just to have. I don't want to say we look at the Burgundy, but for the balance, it's certainly closer to this kind of wine.
Well, you're not very far from Gigondas.
Not really, but if you look at the weather and Gigondas, it's warmer than our place.
How many kilometers south of you? Maybe 50?
Yeah, less.
Less? Okay.
35, I think.
Isn't it amazing that the weather patterns change in that short of a distance?
But just if you go 10 or 15 kilometers from Valréas, it's changed at all. It's closer than in Gigondas, but in Gigondas you also have two different, very, very different way to make wines and two different terroirs. So close to the village, not in altitude, you have the most part of Gigondas, and that makes this powerful, full-bodied Gigondas. This most part of the producer is here actually, and you have all the high-altitude terroir. And it's totally different style. The Syrah here is very, very fresh, and the Grenache can give a bit of verticality like in Valréas. So Gigondas is a wonderful terroir for that.
It's kind of like Sancerre. You get there and up on the mountain, it's very different than it is in the valley, right outside. Maybe 5 miles away, but totally different wine taste.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
And where's the winemaker for these wines? What's his background?
Stéphane got Rhône Valley in 2000, just getting some plots in different appellations. He started with Chateauneuf du Pape and Chateauneuf du Pape Gigondas, and he created La Ferme du Mont. So it's a well-known wineries that make all the well-known appellation of Rhône Valley. And he looked for a fresher terroir, and he go to the north, and he got a Clos Bellan in 2010, and after Valréas in 2020, just because it's the neighbors. And when Emmanuel Bouchard want to retire, he asked Stéphane to pay attention to this terroir. So.
Yeah.
But Emmanuel is still in the company. He's in charge of all the vineyard.
He's retired, but he's still in charge.
He retired from Valréas, but now he's managing all the vineyards for Clos Bellan and Valréas.
Brian, I think you need to take a field trip to Shigandas,
Yeah, you know.
the whole area.
Sure. John, you work here in the tasting room for me.
Yeah, after wine club season, please.
I would love to do that. Are you kidding? I think Sam actually told us he was taking us all to France if we got over 1,000 wine club members.
Which we did.
We shattered that glass ceiling. So
Sam, you better come through.
yeah, I just don't know who would end up working here. We still need to sell wine. All right, it's really pretty.
Yeah,
you like
this
it?
is right up my alley.
And I'm not missing the oak at all. It's
Isn't that amazing?
It's great.
No oak, and everybody talks about French oak. It's always French oak, over oaked.
Well,
Yeah, that's a problem with oak. But in a mind of people, often oak means great wines, and you have to put great wine in oak. But it's not our philosophy at all.
When was the big buttery oaky Chardonnay trend in America, Brian? Was that like 80s and early 90s? And it became a thing. I mean, people wanted oaky buttery,
I mean, there was always a certain demographic.
Not me.
But then that's why you now have this backlash.
Mm-hmm.
So now, people are turning to Chablis.
Yeah, they want crisp and
Yeah.
clean and bright fruit and
And that's
like a Sauvignon Blanc by comparison,
Yeah, well, it's just the trends, and even the whole natural wine movement for higher acidities in wines. It sort of transitioned a lot of people. But you still have your blue-haired people that want a buttery oaky Chardonnay and put some ice in it, which, I mean, at that point, I don't know what the hell you're doing anyway. But Jasmine and I both had, we've been to Hospice de Rhône and Rhône Rangers where we've tried specifically Grenache. I think that's been done in concrete before, and to preserve the freshness of it.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, it's
Especially
beautiful.
with Grenache, for sure.
Here in California, a little bit different. We get a little more sunshine here in this area, so sometimes we're using a little bit of neutral or once or twice use oak. But Grenache is the flavors of Grenache are so pretty with strawberry and cherry and licorice, and when you preserve it like this, especially in a colder climate, it's fucking beautiful.
Thank you. But
And this is what you want to drink every day, and you want to have it with food, or you can just drink it on its own. I mean, it's
and oak don't bring a lot of very, very, especially new oak with Grenache. So don't express the pure aromas of this varietal. On Syrah is a bit different because when Syrah is very extract, you can use new oak just to make it softer and have more drinkable wines.
Yeah.
But
what are you drinking in your free time when you're not drinking these wines? What are some of your favorite wines to drink?
Oh, too many. I'm fond of Loire Valley wines or Riesling for the white, and I can find this kind of profile in all Valréas wine. Just looking at the balance. And for the red, for sure, I drink a lot of Rhône Valley wines, but from Châteauneuf-du-Pape, Gigondas is a good example because I like high altitude terroir, so Gigondas is very cool. Valréas for sure because it's my place, and Northern Rhône, but much more looking at Saint-Joseph or the southern part of the Northern Rhône. I'm
not a Cornas guy.
Yeah, Cornas, it's a fantastic place. I prefer Cornas than Côte-Rôtie, for example, because it's more rustic, more traditional.
I notice it says you're getting about 35 tons per hectare. Grapes, that seems large by comparison. Do you happen to know, Brian, what Enterprise would get average around here with Grenache?
Know hectare is how many acres?
Like 3/4.
I think it's 3 times, no?
3 times, so like 3 acres would be a hectare.
I think it's the other way around. A hectare's smaller.
So then those numbers wouldn't make sense, John. I mean,
it's 2.5 acres in a hectare.
Okay.
2.5. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I mean, Grenache grows with vigor. If you let it, it'll, but I don't know that number is.
It just sounded like a very healthy crop report at 35 tons per hectare. It's a lot.
Where are you seeing that?
Online, just here in crop analysis of their area,
Okay.
and what actually they produce in terms of, it's from one of the distributors.
Okay.
They
I would
do-
have to imagine, since they're working with older vines, though, their yield is not going to be that much.
I know. I'm thinking
Yeah.
it's 2.5 tons per acre, something like that with older vines. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe there's a
I can't
decimal
express
point
that
missing.
by tons because it's not. We used to say it hectoliters an hectare, but in Valréas with our wines it's around 25 hectoliters an hectare. So
I'll do the quick math.
I don't know how many tons it is.
Yeah, not
but,
me.
Yeah. Tell us about this wine while she's doing.
so this one is 100% Grenache, and it's
The color is amazing.
yeah. Yeah, the yield is very, very low.
Yeah.
So it's a special vineyard, a special plot called Les Alars.
Yeah.
And it's one of the oldest vineyard in Valréas. So around 70 years old. And it's produced without any sulfate added.
This particular wine, no
Yeah.
sulfites added to it.
Yeah.
And why?
Because it's a choice of Emmanuel since years ago. Les Alars, this special plot is produced without sulfites, just to express to reflect naturally what we can find in this special vineyard.
Do you ever get any issues with that if you're not using any of the sulfites, like aging the wines,
It's
traveling with the wines?
no, we don't have any. It depends the plots, but this kind of old vines gives wine they can go everywhere without any problems.
Yeah.
And we can aging. We try some 2000, and it's very wonderful.
Right.
And
Yeah, this is amazing. What are the price points on these wines? Like, what would they be on a typical wine list? Or are these available in any wine shops?
I did pull a list for you this time. I came prepared.
Yes, okay, cool.
Let's see. Up in the North Bay,
North Bay, yeah.
we have Liquorland in Millbrae that's
Yeah.
working with the Leillard, so the
Yeah.
one in our glass right now.
Yeah.
There are a few spots in San Francisco. There's Mayflower Market in Delhi, Ebb and Flow Wine Bar, Olympic Club.
Oh, at the Olympic Club.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We have DNA Wine Lounge up in Granite Bay, pouring
Yeah.
the Le Petit Doigt.
And retail?
Retail. Swirl on Castro in San Francisco is also working with the Le Petit Doigt. But yeah, that is my job as the
Yeah.
salesperson to get
And what
it
do
into
they
more
sell
spots.
this for typically?
Typically, the Leia Allard would be around like 30 plus.
Oh,
Le Petit Doigt, that one would be more like 20 to 25. And then the Blanc would be like 22 to 26.
Brian, isn't it pleasant when they don't have a gigantic mortgage on $2 million acres to pay off and they can price wines reasonably? Beautiful prices that they know.
Well, that actually,
For great wine.
Think about it too, John, when you're not buying a bunch of barrels all the time, which makes me think about concrete. So with the concrete eggs, when you use them for aging, afterwards you bottle and then you just kind of clean them out. Is there like an amount of times that you use concrete that you think, oh, maybe it's time to get a new one? Or is it, do you know what I'm saying? Whereas with barrels,
Aged
you
oak.
use them and then 2-3 times, people want to get it. But with concrete,
I know with concrete,
I mean, you
especially
could
for
just-
our concrete tanks, is were made in the building, so it's the same since 70s.
Yeah.
So they're not moving.
We just clean it and we
No.
keep the
I've never thought about that before, of like the age
Yeah.
of concrete and aging in it. If at some point, you think, oh, maybe it's extracted all of the sort of minerality flavors out of the concrete, but really it's a neutral environment, right?
It's not so natural because there is no resin on it. So you have a synergy of concrete and you have an exchange with air, but it's very, very small. That's why 1 year it's important to keep the one year before bottling. But the concrete can give both keep the freshness and the purity, and just make it the tiny a bit softer. But you don't have to extract a lot. If you make a pump over a day, like a traditional way to make wines in Rhone Valley, concrete is not enough. You have not enough exchange with air to make it soften. So that's why people use oak in Rhone Valley for the most part.
Right. And I remember the first time I saw a concrete egg, it was up at the Benziger property here. And Mike Benziger was telling me that inside of the egg, there's like a vortex where the wine's actually spinning, sort of rotating. How the fuck does that happen?
I don't know exactly. It's like the golden number, You have all this vortex, and but that makes sense when we make it and we make the winemaking in concrete egg. Especially when you don't want to extract, but you want to express a lot of aromas. For this wine, it's a good example. That it's pretty full-bodied without any extractions.
Yeah, it's got grip.
For
sure.
I like it.
And it's not oak tannin. It's fruit tannin.
Yeah, and you have and without any oaky aroma, so it's
That's really interesting. You really rarely taste that, where it's you don't taste the oak at all. It's the absence of it that I'm enjoying. Amazing.
Yeah, Jonathan, you're gonna love this.
Brian, you're talking about that vortex in the concrete egg. That's not a manual stimulation. It would be just the molecular rising.
It's Mother Nature.
And
and the lees is always in suspension, in difference with
cool.
So that's why.
So no stirring necessary when you use them.
I like
Question for you. For the 3 Vaudois wines, do they spend time in the concrete egg, or are they just in the concrete tanks that Stéphane has?
For only the last one is in the concrete egg.
Okay.
The other is in
just the big
tanks.
concrete tanks.
Yeah.
I know
because the Grenache expressed differently in concrete egg than in concrete vat. So
I know this is a audio platform, but I will send this photo to Brian to share.
Oh, cool.
But so the eggs are at the back, but along the sides there, those are all the concrete tanks. So you can see the size difference between the eggs. I mean, obviously, you know what it looks like.
Yeah, I've seen these before in the really cool
huge
cellars. We've seen them up in Walla Walla and down in Paso Robles. I've been in some cellars like that.
Yeah. It's wild.
People that have the money for the toys. Who actually owns the winery? Is it Emmanuel, but he's retired? No.
Is Stéphane Vedeau now.
It's Stéphane.
Yeah.
Okay. What does he do, other than making wine?
Sorry?
What does he do? Like, where did he get money to...
Before.
Yeah.
Stéphane started to be a soccer player.
Like professionally?
Yeah, professionally.
Okay.
Prior to get a winemaking in Languedoc. And after he sell his company in Languedoc to get Rhone Valley.
Huh. Okay, so retired soccer player.
Yeah.
With a passion for wine.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. Well, he has a vision, a different approach, a totally different approach of wine, just looking at the balance. And when he was in Languedoc, he paid a lot of attention to Limoux terroir. And Limoux is very, very fresh. And now people speak about Limoux, a lot about Limoux, because it's what
fresh.
Is that?
Limoux is a place in south of Languedoc, close between to Montpellier and Toulouse. but it's high in altitude and it's very fresh. And it's well known for Blanquet de Limoux because it's sparkling wines and that make different balance.
You ever heard of that?
No, but it has my attention.
So you definitely need to come in.
Yeah. I love sparkling
In
wines.
southern France.
Road trip.
So you've never been to Sonoma before. Is there anything you wanted to see besides working? Obviously, you have to work, but is there anything around here that you were excited about maybe getting to see? The ocean? I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
He was excited about the Golden Gate Bridge. We're going to drive over it later today.
Like a tourist.
It should be pretty beautiful today.
Yeah, coming over the Richmond Bridge, it was super clear. So
Nice.
Yeah,
Do you have a sunroof in your car?
I do.
That's
yes.
the best part. Yeah.
I'll stick him out.
Yeah.
Hold his legs so he can really get the full
Seatbelt and
experience.
get up there and yeah, especially if there's no fog, you'll have a lot of fun.
Yeah, she told me about the fog, and we don't used to have in France, southern France. So.
Bella, have you ever been down to Fort Point under the bridge?
Yes.
What? Take me down
Ooh,
there.
that's a good
It
call,
takes 5
actually.
minutes, and you just take a right as you come over the bridge, and then go
Yeah.
down under Fort Point. And sometimes there's people surfing under the Golden Gate Bridge, and it's just a very unique view because you're under the bridge looking up at it. It's kind of cool. It's a great spot.
We can take a little detour.
I follow you. You're my guide.
Are you basically driving him around?
Yeah, I get to play chauffeur.
Yeah.
You're his GPS for the weekend.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And where are you guys going to dinner?
Nowhere decided yet, but tomorrow we'll be on the drive from San Francisco to Sacramento, so we'll just stop at an account along the way, grab some dinner.
Yeah.
Busy trip, but it'll be worth it. I think we'll get some solid placements out of it.
Cool.
Yeah.
The wines are beautiful.
Yeah, they should
Thank
be
you
at
very
the
much.
Fig. Yeah,
Oh.
Ooh,
they should be at the Grand Fig. Absolutely.
writing that down.
Yeah.
We have a restaurant here that the wine list is only Rhone. It's like 80, 90 wines, but mostly local Rhone varietals. But then they also do have some from France as well.
Well, now we've got a Frenchie working for us, so
Now we have a
that's-
French wine buyer too.
Yeah.
so-
he's in Japan right now, but we can make something happen, I'm sure.
Yeah, especially this is.
Yeah, this is so good.
Yeah.
This is something that would definitely add to their wine list aesthetically.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just adding another wine to the list. This would be there for a reason.
Oh, totally unique. I mean, when you're talking about doing things in concrete, especially.
Well, the weather, the location,
Yeah.
the soil, the limestone, everything, and
flavors.
the organic nature and regenerative nature of their agriculture.
Checks
I
all the
think.
boxes,
Yeah,
John.
Yeah,
And you could go there and have a glass.
I have no issue with that whatsoever.
Bella, are we going to do a sake tasting at some point?
Yeah, I would love
Okay.
nothing more.
Okay, cool.
I told Sam when we scheduled, I'll be sure to bring some funky stuff that we can pair it with. Like we can do some Italian food, some Thai food, something that's not Japanese. We are going to stray away from Japanese and pair it with stuff that you
I
think.
never even
Yeah,
thought about that.
that is one of like the great joys of my job is bringing sake to people who would never have thought they could use sake.
Oh, so
Yeah.
I'm picturing you just going into sushi restaurants and selling sake, but you're talking about you go into regular restaurants.
Regular
and
restaurants.
You tell them you need to have sake on your
Yeah.
menu, on your wine list.
Yep. If they have any sort of seafood, it's an easy sell. It's like, oh,
what
you
temp
should.
do you like to serve your sake? at?
Oh, well, that is all dependent on the
Yeah.
style of sake.
Yeah.
Like if I have something, like we have one of my favorites in our portfolio is called Mentense Kinoko. So it is a sake that was made to be paired with mushrooms, and that one is phenomenal at room temp, but I personally prefer it warmed up slightly, and it has just these beautiful like umami notes to it.
Yeah. John, I think it's a completely different world.
Yeah.
Than most people that have gone to a sushi restaurant and just ordered a
The hot
shot
sake.
Yeah.
Or sake
My
bombs.
son Michael tries to educate me on sake. It's
Well, Bella's
a
going to
big
do
thing
that
in
for
Chicago.
us.
That's
Yes.
yeah, good thing.
Laurent, you want to mention? Can people come visit you? Is there at the winery? Can people come?
Yeah,
taste
sure.
And
On meeting,
you have
we
rooms there on the property. People can stay.
Yeah. We have an accommodation.
Yeah. Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So you have no excuse. And we have an accommodation in close to Clobelan, so close to Valréas.
Yeah.
And one other in Rasto. So
another one of my favorite spots for Grenache.
Really?
Yeah.
Rasto is not as famous as the other Southern Rhône, but it's very, very interesting.
Okay. It is. So if people want to come visit, they just reach out to you.
Just send an email or just have a call, and we can receive
include your contact information in the show notes, and
sure.
And also for you, Bella, too, if anyone wants to get a hold of some of these wines, and especially it seems like Marin for us would be the closest spot to grab them. Awesome. Anything you want to add?
No, sounds great.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having us today.
Thank you very
The
much.
wines
Yeah.
are beautiful.
Yeah.
And do you guys just make these 3 wines? Is that it?
Sorry?
So these are the 3 wines that you guys make.
For about a while.
Yeah. In Valréas, yeah, it is.
Oh, that makes your job easy. We make like 25 different wines every year.
No, but we have other in Clobelan, and we have too many different.
And do you represent those wines as well?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you might be back.
Please come back.
So you have to come.
That would be great.
There's too many
I'll
different
take you
wines to
up on that.
taste, and it's always better to taste the wine on the terroir.
What's the best time of year, you think?
Spring is fantastic. Spring is not too hot, and weather is often very, very cool. So
and so in that area, what else is around there? Good restaurants.
We are pretty poor around with a good restaurant, but close to Avignon and Valence, you can find all the well-known Star Michelin.
Oh no, I don't want to eat at Star Michelin.
No, not Star Michelin. But you have some.
Speak for yourself.
Some are really good, like Pico,
Yeah, no, I just
and it's a truffle place also. We are well known for the truffle culture, so you can taste
oh my god,
Sold.
I'm thinking.
Yeah, that with truffles.
That
the
works.
Syrahs.
There you go, Brian.
All right, cool.
Get yourself a truffle dog.
I know a person, John. Her name's Aiko. She lives up in Seattle, and I always. So she was here a few weeks ago because we have a little truffle project going on in one of the vineyards. I don't know if I'm allowed to say. It's kind of down the hush down low, but I always thought they use pigs, and so she just happened to be here tasting wine. So I asked her, "Hey, how come you don't use pigs? Why are you training dogs?" And her answer completely caught me off guard. She said, "Have you ever tried to get on a plane with a pig?" And I was like, "No." She said, "Yeah, that's why I train dogs."
Oh my gosh.
Right. Okay, cool. Jasmine, any shout outs we want?
Yes, please.
Sure.
We're in wine club season. I am almost done reaching out to all our hotter states to make sure we can get your wine there quickly before it warms up too much. But feel free to email me if you know exactly what you want, or if you want your wines on your way. I'm definitely a first come, first serve kind of gal. So, but yeah, wine is coming and the new release is awesome. We've got an Eau de Tête in there, which we've never done before. We've got Zinfandel, our new Hommage Blanc, our new Rosé.
Yummy.
And my personal favorite from the whole thing is going to be the 22 Odolini Hommage.
I'm telling you, this weekend, that was the standout. It's 60% Mourvèdre, 25 Grenache, 15 Petit Syrah.
It's incredible.
And the freshness of it. That to me is an Isabel wine. It's like you can tell that she did the blend. It's freaking delicious. You know what? It's funny that I think about things in the shower a lot. Maybe just when I'm in the shower, I have it's like I have my alone time. But I was thinking this morning, about that 22 Odolini Hommage and how it sort of reminded me, and you might think I'm crazy, of the 22 Domaine La Baroche that we had by the glass at TCP.
Yeah.
And there was something about it when I was like, oh, there was like a similarities in the flavors
Well,
and
the
the
fruit
freshness.
for sure.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I would love
Anytime
to be
you can
compared
compare
to
yourself to
Julian's wines.
wine,
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, no kidding. Cool. And then I'm sure for Bart, I know Bart was getting his spring club together as well. And of course, you can always go to danecellars.com. Yesterday here in the tasting room, I had the people that I think grow the Petit Syrah.
Oh, very cool.
For him. And so they just stopped by on their way to Repris.
And Bart's doing Tuesdays at the Tank. So if you
Tuesdays at the Tank, and especially
hang out with the
for
winemaker,
industry people, go there. He's pouring wine, and you know what? Let's do a special shout out to TCP.
Oh yeah, that was spectacular.
In Petaluma, Jasmine and I had a really nice dinner. Is it
Table Cultural Provisions. And the wine list, like you looked like you were staring into someone's soul. Like it was so personalized, and like I'm like, who is this person? We need to meet.
Yeah. So we decided to bring the Domaine Le Baroche Pure White to go with the reds that we were drinking. It was fucking amazing. And shout out to the Chacry in Petaluma that's pouring the Semillon by the glass, and we had some good oysters there as well.
Oh, and Songbird Parlor, we had a great dinner at too. We had a lot of good dinners recently.
Last week.
Yeah,
It's the
Living large
podcast. And then we ran into Bella at the James Suckling tasting. We kind of did have a long week last week of food and wine. And it was nice to see West Wine Tours back as well. On I think it was Saturday, they pulled up in the van to hear the sound of the old Volkswagen van pulling up to the tasting room.
Classic.
Yeah, if you're coming to Sonoma, it's a great way to travel. They drive you to 3 wineries, you get lunch, and you get to hang out with us. Yeah.
John.
That's it, buddy. All
right.
good.
Ron,
Social,
thank you very much.
are you online at all? Can people
Instagram for the winery?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, for all our winery, Clos Bellan and Valréas. I give you all the information to Bella.
Cool. We'll put it on the show notes. Thank you,
All
Bella.
righty.
We appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
You guys, have a successful trip. Enjoy some food and wine. I think people are really gonna enjoy
these are
the wines.
these are amazing.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Official recommendation.
Cool. Thank you for listening. We'll look forward to talking to you next week.
See you guys.
Thanks.